All right, why don't we kick it off? Happy Thursday, Solvers. Thank you all so much for being here. We're very glad to see you, and we got a whale of a show for you today. I'm Jane Zanzig. I'm one of your Solve for Good community organizers. We also have my partner in crime, Hareem, here.
Hello, I'm Hareem. I'm one of the other community organizers.
And today is the one that we've all been waiting for, fairness, bias, and ethics, and we have a killer lineup for you. First, just a quick check at where we are in the summer. We're on our penultimate Solve Summer Academy. We just have one more session left after this on implementation and project handoff. And our date for Data Fest has been confirmed. That's going to be September 17th. Data Fest is our end of summer extravaganza where you get to hear shares from all the projects on the projects they've made, and we're looking to have a few special guests keynotes as well, so keep your eyes peeled for more info on that. But what are we going to do today? Today we'll have two short shares from some current Solve for Good project partners with an eye towards bias and fairness. We'll hear the latest from the PinVal team that's working with the Cook County Assessor's Office to make a tool to make property value assessments more transparent, interpretable, and auditable to the public. And then we'll hear from a team working with Infonavi, which is the largest mortgage lender in Latin America, on their project that's collating data on foreclosed mortgages so they can understand the patterns of foreclosure and who is affected and how to bring those houses back onto the market. So then we'll have three shares that are showing kind of how to think about bias, fairness, and ethics from a wide variety of perspectives, right? So starting at the highest level, methodology, right? So we'll hear from Lauren Ito on how to approach the design process in a really thoughtful and ethical way. As we have said before, any data science for good project isn't just about the data and doesn't happen in a vacuum. There are real humans who your work will affect, and you have to keep that in mind throughout the whole process. So she'll share some questions you can keep in mind and ask of yourself and your project partners to check yourself and make sure you're really thinking of people first. Then we'll hear more about how the data collection process and how real world processes can introduce bias into data that you might be examining, and how you can analyze that data to understand and demonstrate these biases. From a share from Chris Kucharczyk and Molly Pettit about some work they did with the ACLU on analyzing racial bias in traffic stops. And then last but not least, we'll hear from Pedro Solero about a technical tool called Equitas that was developed at the Center for Data Science and Public Policy to be able to look at the results of your model outcomes and evaluate whether or not they're treating different groups fairly and making sure you're protecting groups who are either minorities or marginalized or more vulnerable. So we have a jam-packed schedule, so we'll keep it moving right along. A reminder, please say hi in the chat. Let us know where you're joining from. We always love to hear that. And any questions that you have from the presenters as we go throughout the day. As time permits, we'll include live Q&A, but we'll also keep answering questions in the chat if we don't have the time to answer them all live. So please put all your questions in there and keep engaging. And as we like to say, like and subscribe. Smash that like button. And I'll pass it over to Andrew for the Solve for Good project updates.
Thanks, Jane. You stole my lines. Great. Okay, so I'll try and keep the updates this week pretty quick because, as we said, there's some awesome presentations coming up. So just to go through them. So first, as Jane said, kind of this call to action about subscribing to the Data Science for Social Good YouTube account if you haven't yet. So you can find the recordings of all of the previous Solve Summer Academies there, and this one will be posted, and all subsequent ones you'll also be able to find there. Also, if you could keep helping us out by telling your networks about the Solve Summer Academy. So this week we have the biggest attendance that we've seen in a couple weeks. And so that's excellent. And I think it's because so many people were kind of pushing this through their networks. So if you could keep doing that, that would be great. The next one is on August 27th, Thursday, August 27th at the same time, and is on implementation and project handoff. Also, the Solve platform is now open for all social good organizations to post data-related challenges. So if you're a social good organization or you know a social good organization, you can tell them to go to solveforgood.org and select post a project. If you've been following us, you know that we have tons and tons of talented volunteers, but we're always seeking new projects to help match those volunteers with so that we can make more social impact and help the beneficiaries of those organizations. So additionally, we have another training that we're hosting tomorrow. So this is the second installment of the Project Scoper training, and it's going to be at noon Eastern. And the link for subscribing to that is in the community channel on the Solve for Good Slack. And the idea of the Project Scoper training is you'll be shown how to go through all the days in the life of a project scoper, including how to use the Solve for Good platform, how you might engage different organizations in communications, and really apply a lot of the theory that we've learned in previous Solve Summer Academies, particularly the one that was all about project scoping. And I have an interesting call today. So we're kind of at the point now where I can make a call for volunteers. So there's actually 2 projects right now that are seeking just a couple volunteers. So one is with the UNICEF Office of Innovation, and the other is with an organization called Community Insight and Impact. And I'm just going to quickly switch over here to DSSG Solve. And if you're interested in volunteering, so you can go up to the top and see on solveforgood.org, go to the projects page. And these projects are just a little bit of the ways down. So you have one with UNICEF. That's about air pollution, and specifically the impact of COVID-19 on air pollution and how that may affect children around the world. And so they're looking particularly for anyone who has expertise in geospatial analysis, and particularly those that have worked with ArcGIS. So if that speaks to you, if that's your areas of expertise, you can just click right here to apply to volunteer, and your application will be reviewed for that project. And the other project is actually a little bit further down. It's called Community Vulnerability Index, again with the Community Insight and Impact. And if you click here, they're actually seeking a range of volunteers. So similarly, they're actually looking for some geospatial people. So again, if you have some experience with ArcGIS or time series data in that area, but also if you have any experience with measurement analysis in particular, that's a huge benefit for this project. And then they're also looking for social scientists, particularly those that are in the area of public health, or if you've worked in epidemiology, or something that's kind of similar or in the Venn diagram overlapping with those areas. So you can apply to all of these through the Solve for Good project.